Hello and welcome everybody to Astro Monday. My name is Ra and we are about to bring up Christopher Witecki. I almost said Christopher. Christopher Witecki, and we're going to be talking about what's going on in the heavens and how that impacts from the backstage to the front stage is what's been going on. I know last week when I asked that question, a lot of people were talking about hecticness. Me personally, what I'm seeing is people are becoming more aware of why it is that they're going through the bumpy road. And I also feel that in my life as well, it's becoming more apparent about how this is something that is beneficial for everyone, for me, for everyone that I'm involved with. And so I'm interested on what's going on with you guys energetically, mentally, emotionally, what's going on in your life. That'll allow Chris and I to work on that foundation as we start to build this episode, the context of this episode. So we are just waiting for Chris right now, and I'm also waiting for you guys' comments. I feel it too, bumpy road, and later we'll be able to help people. Like, for instance, I'll give you guys an example. One of my friends got his car stolen. He literally had to go track it down and like steal it back, essentially. Didn't call the cops. It was just like a mission. And he just said that that's just a normal thing that's been happening to him over the last few weeks. And then he just had this very, I don't want to say stoic, but it was just a very harmonious outlook on why that is that it's happening. And I feel reflections of that in my life, and I also feel reflections of that with other people talking to me. Car accidents happening, and then also it just seems like somehow it's in alignment with the path and the journey. Like a family member got into a car accident, injury involved a few days ago, and it still seems to make sense somehow. And also let us know where you're coming in from, because people are all over the world. And if you guys can, give your favorite Christopher Witecki howl. You know, like give him shine the Batman light up in the sky by you, however you do that, like mentally, like signal him to come our way so that we get to be blessed by his presence. Because I keep on inviting him over and over and over again. And it says, Christopher Witecki is unable to join. New Jersey says, Flex Magnificent. Hi, I'm Shatha from United Arab Emirates. Ireland, west coast of Ireland. Man, you guys are really able to answer where you're coming from, but not able to answer, not willing, I should say, to answer what's been going on this week. All right, here, Torrington, Wyoming. I've been exhausted lately, but I've been getting downloads, so I know life will be better. 3 days of migraine from the UK. Lots going on, feeling seesaw of uber calm and suddenly anxious. Feeling the seesaw of uber calm and then suddenly anxious. Vancouver, Libra, 9 degree. Atlanta, Denmark. Where do I get a hat that says AR? It's actually reversed, right? So I don't know if you're being funny, which is pretty funny, but the video is just mirrored. And this is a raw hat. Also exhausted, Maryland, and I don't have them for sale. Exhausted, Sweden. I've been struggling with asthma. Kansas City, Missouri, feel more joyful than ever in my life. That's amazing to hear. Too much going on. My daughter has flipped out. Good luck with that. Low mood. Usually the flip outs are revealing a potential for progress between uh, that person and whoever they're relating with. The flip out is just sort of the flag that you get to then enter into the cave and find out what's really going on. And then when that offers opportunity for harmony. This past week I've been working on the HG Human Garage coaching program. I'm up to the final exam. Congratulations. Baja, Mexico, tired, but life is great. Happy and enjoying the summer. Feeling completion and home. Emotionally a wreck doing estate sale for mom's house. I've been through that actually with my own house. A lot of body pain with it. Uploads, downloads, activations, tired, headaches, then refreshed and energetic. All right, so I'm seeing like a lot of waves of ups and downs is what it's more than one comment. Many comments have said. Mental health awareness, being present, grounded with all the world's distractions. Lots of different forms of grieving this past week, but it's a different and more evolved grieving than in the past. So ultimately, a lot of growth. Belfast, Ireland. Lots of intense emotions, seeing several friends, family members pass away, a little anxious. Northern California and extreme relationships, mental turmoil, questioning everything. So just to give you guys a recap on last week, one of the things that Chris said was we start to notice how dirty our house is when we're cleaning it. And so what I took from that is that we're becoming aware of situations, or we're watching situations change drastically, or even systems burn down. And that's because there's a cleaner, I'll just say cleaner version of that coming through. And so there's lots of turmoil, there's lots of things happening, but you can start to see that people are seeing the bleed through of what's next. So they're starting to see how it all fits together. Been having a rough week. My mom's birthday was on 8/8, which is Lionsgate, right? Which Chris says is really not the accurate date of Lionsgate. Been having a rough week. My mom's birthday was on 8/8, and today is the anniversary of her transition. So it's difficult for sure. Yeah, definitely. And it's it's also a time that she's in your awareness, which might be her way of connecting with you. I've witnessed multiple people ending long-term relationships the last 2 weeks, people having the courage suddenly to make the change. Saturday visited the cemetery, unexpected, big sad cry. Sunday was an awesome day. Today is an awesome day, I'm sure. Pain in the bottom of my foot where toes meet my foot when I run over 7 miles. Can't figure it out. Pain in the bottom of my foot where my toes meet my foot. You know there's an arch there, right? So there's the arch that's here, and then there's the arch that's underneath here. And so that might be getting strained. And you could also tell if that's messed up if you wear out the soles of your shoes right in that spot. So that arch is essentially flattened. Foot exercises are really great to do. Also, fascia maneuvers for the feet and the lower legs are also really great to do. oversaturated of information right now. Time to lower our vibration and resonate with others. All right, guys. It's been 12 minutes and still no Christopher, and I don't have the knowledge to give you guys what you're expecting. So let me try inviting him one more time and see what happens here. Exactly what is happening now, it seems. Oversaturating of information. Now time to lower our vibrations. Bump on it on. Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, feeling awesome, recognizing this is a wonderful improvisation. Had a lot of health issues after Dad passed away in 2020, but then I watched Human Garage video and got hooked on it. Now I'm taking charge of my life and well-being. Great. Great. We are the ones responsible. My dad's birthday was 8/8 also. He passed a few years back. Lionsgate. Christopher Witecki is unable to join. All right, everybody, apologies for this. I'm going to check in on our buddy Christopher through text. So I'm going to sign off here and check back in maybe 5 minutes and see if we're back on. Thank you for being here. And if for some reason something happened to him and we don't get back on, I'll see you guys next week. Next Monday at noon, or I do a show Wednesday at noon Pacific time. Bye-bye, everybody. Oh, he's here. He's here. I can't believe I almost ended it. I just accepted you. There you
What's
are.
up, buddy? How are you?
I was right about ready to pull the plug, but here you
Oh my
are.
God, it's been a little crazy here. Well, we just had a lot of construction. We have new carpeting when the carpets went in the house here, and it was just a disarray, dude. I was actually looking for my phone for a long time
Yeah,
because they got here at Chinese New Year like 7 a.m. and we're just all like scrambling to move stuff. And I apologize, we couldn't get
all
there.
good.
It's kind of a perfect example of kind of what we're dealing with all together in life right now. It's kind of a Chinese fight drill for this last leg of our life. How are you
Yeah,
guys
there's,
doing? Sorry for the delay. I couldn't get message to you. I couldn't find my phone. I couldn't get power. I'm actually handholding this one. It's going to be a handhold
oh
episode today,
yeah,
folks. Yeah.
the uh, the general prognosis, because I had 10 minutes of that of reading everybody's
Oh my
comments.
God.
It
God bless
was
you.
it was it seemed like lots of up and down energy, and what I get from that is that you also can kind of see through the mess at like kind of starting to see the organization of it and how it fits into our life. And that's how I feel personally, is that the turmoil is starting to make sense, and I'm starting to um, be comfortable with it because I can see the sort of the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, not in the bad way, right? Like you can
Right, yeah,
tell.
I can see the right. I can see the reasoning for it and what I'm supposed to get out of it, but I still have to get it. Like it's not like just going to be handed to me.
No, no, you have to try hard. I mean, actually, what we're really doing is changing direction right now. So it's a change of heart and a change of where the heart wants to go. And there's still some master steps that are involved. In fact, we're just now getting to the master steps this week. We hit step 19 well, actually we're at step 19 today, and we go to step 20 tomorrow. So tomorrow's a mastery. The thing
Yeah.
about tomorrow is the feelings haven't really caught up with y'all yet. People have been operating pretty much just from pure creativity and discovery, but in the next 24 hours, the feelings catch up to you. And that's leading to this full moon we just had. How was the full moon experience for you? Did you guys have an intense one?
Um, what day was that? I didn't even notice it.
We've gone. Oh, it's apexing. I mean, like this is it. Step 19.
Today.
Yeah, yeah. We're going through it. Did you not see it last night? Like the moon is incredibly bright.
I
um,
mean, there was just some intense. There was just like a conversation I was just in, and I was like, why is
like,
this feeling like it's the end of the world, but it's just something small?
well, it's like REM. It's the end of the world as you know it. So it is the moment where we're separating from the sense of the what we used to be attached to, like society we used to be attached to, the groups of people we used to be attached to. It's a complete split now. And we're moving now into the Virgo consciousness once we wrap this up. And Virgo has two full moons, by the way, two full moons that happen in Pisces. One at the beginning and one at the end. And one of them is an eclipse. So we end up literally in Virgo kind of slicing out the old world and putting in a new one with three emotional events in Virgo alone. It'll be a blue moon month this month. Because of a second full moon at the end of the month.
And so does that moon is the moon's reflecting light, right?
Right, exactly. So the moon, yes, the moon basically is a tearing down of the old, a detachment from the old, and an embracing of the new,
So
basically.
what I was going to ask is like, what's the significance of a new moon or a full moon with an eclipse?
Well, a full moon it's actually a partial solar eclipse that happens. So it is the new moon that actually is the eclipse.
Oh, the new moon. All right.
So we have two full moons and a new moon. The new moon is an eclipse, and having a new moon eclipse means that the moon blocks the sun, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
the sun gets eclipsed, and that means that you end up having part of the sun. Part of the sun comes through the gravitational moment, and some of the sun doesn't come through. And the part that comes through, which is the radius, basically creates if you think about it, like a circle, like a new circle of light around the Earth. And that circle of light basically represents the new zero in which life is born. So it's literally a new zero that creates a new one, right? The sun being the one. So zero, one, all in one. It's like a fiery zero, is what happens. And so that tells you, first of all, there's major events that happen. But we also are predicting on our team that, we feel like a lot of reality is going to come out in Virgo. So Leo's a lot of change of heart. What happens in Leo is people say, I can't do this anymore. I want to do this. I don't really want to be in this job anymore. I want to do this. You're kind of like, here in the summer, deep, deep summer in the northern hemisphere, deep winter in the southern hemisphere, kind of trapped under the weather, and you sit down and think about your life, right? And in that period, we ultimately decide my heart's not in anymore. We also have Mercury going direct today too, so there's a lot of shifting in the energies. Mercury station's direct. It happened at 3 a.m. this morning, Eastern time. So we woke up with a direct Mercury. We woke up moving forward with now time to move forward with this new realization of life and this new full moon, which says, "Hey, let go of that life you had, and now embrace a new life." The full moon apex is 16 degrees. So ultimately the full moon apex is 19 degrees, excuse me. So it's literally the manifestation of the new and letting go of the old before we go on to this new mastery. So I think what it has to do a lot, because it's Aquarius, the full moon, a lot of, I think, what is being destroyed is a future you thought you were going to have. Because Aquarius is always, and the reason why it's in the future is because Aquarius is the frequencies, and the frequencies actually go into infinite, into the future, infinite in the past, right? With these waves of time and space. So we basically cut ourselves off from a direction we were headed, where the wavelength was heading, and we're now heading for a new direction. I don't think you'll start to see the effects of that though until Virgo, because Virgo is when things become real, when the Leo becomes real, when the molten lava of the sun, so to speak, starts to cool into solid form. That's when it forms into reality that we see. So you'll probably see the headlines, of change in Virgo, and I imagine a lot of change. I would imagine some surprising change. In fact, I was saying today in our meeting, I wouldn't be surprised if you see, quite literally, some medical truth come out. Some medical truth, because Virgo is medical, right?
I mean, it seems like that's all coming out to the main in a mainstream way, which is yeah. And then a lot will change. Hopefully, people will be forced to make decisions differently. Um,
Yeah, I have no choice.
I feel that, like you said, uh, a new a new direction that you didn't really see coming, um,
Yeah,
which is forcing a detachment from what the
right.
plan was.
Yeah, you can look at it that way too. Sometimes an end creates a beginning, and the beginning creates an end. So it can be both ways. In some cases, the announcement of something new, new opportunity that you didn't have before, then demands the end of something old. And sometimes I know people who, I know tons of stories where people, like, the house was sold up from under them, or the company was sold to another company, so people were laid off, or movements of change that forced people to change when they weren't planning to change at all. So there's a lot of that. So even if you didn't plan, you might be shoved out the door into a new something.
And so this Mercury retrograde coming to the end and it's now going direct, what can people do to hop on that momentum to make sure that they're in alignment?
Mercury stations direct today at step 4 Leo. In fact, we have a lot of interesting stuff with Leo going on. Leo is number one, step one, the number one step. So, number one step is you. You are the one that creates your reality. Mercury at 4 says you belong thinking about the one, you, your heart, and what you deserve. At the same time, we have Saturn, Neptune, and Uranus all also at a step 1. Saturn and Neptune is step 1 Aries, Uranus is step 1 Gemini. So, this whole slew of ones going on, this harmony of ones. Well, the sun hits an apex of the full moon when the sun, which is the one, is in the sign of Leo, the one. So it's like a huge like foot down on the cement, so to speak, a bear, like Bigfoot foot down, saying your heart and loving yourself is the number one thing that life's about. It's sort of a commandment of come back to the one, come back to your heart, come back to who you are, your authenticity, come back to your creativity, come back to your inner child, come back to where you came from, your start of you, who you are, that perpetual creation, that perpetual youth that we really are. By nature, we are only youth eternal, actually. The body's age, but we don't, right? Our spirit lasts forever. And so all of this in Mercury retrograde is start thinking again to the one. If it's not in alignment with your heart, it doesn't belong in your life. And that's really what the full moon in Aquarius says. Hey, if it's not in harmony with your life, with your heart, it doesn't belong in your life. You're not meant to be around anything or anyone your heart doesn't love, like authentically, not forced or learn to or get to know. It's what your heart genuinely loves and who your heart loves, right? So the Mercury direct says, okay, it's time to start thinking forward now with your self-love as the number one thing as your motive. Being mindful of your heart. If nothing else, it says be mindful of your heart at all times. Really, we ought to monitor our heart with everything we do. So if you're going to go, I'm going to go take out the garbage. What's your heart feel about that? I'm going to go cook lunch. What's your heart feel about that? What's your heart feel about what you're eating? The heart is meant to determine everything in life. And we've gotten to a world where we've let our mind do it. Let our mind do it. So I feel like this is the change where you'll see through the fall a lot of dropping out, people deciding to quit things that they were so sure they were supposed to do. I think you're going to see a lot of death in Virgo. I think a lot of people are going to pass away. I think their bodies will give out because they made certain choices, and their body just can't live in this heaviness anymore. The soul can't live in the heaviness. Whether that heaviness is because of blood clots or because of damage to your organs or whatever it may be, and staying in that perpetual sadness. I think a lot of bodies will give up because Virgo is like either heal or die. So anyone on the fringe is going to probably pass over, who hasn't determined to heal and bring it together, right? And for those people, they weren't in self love. They were perpetually in that self love. I think with government and finance, I think with Virgo, you're probably going to find, some data, some knowledge, something that was hidden, which is a Scorpio thing to hide. But Virgo is the analyzer. Virgo is the auditor. Virgo is where we find the mistakes, we find the details that we missed. So I think you're also going to see corruption or something found, without a doubt, and you're going to see that the fire of this corruption sort of break out probably in Virgo, like an illness, illness in the government or illness somewhere else. I don't know. Are we still fighting over budget? Or we finally passed it and pay attention, but that was one that was pretty interesting, right?
How can that look on a personal level though?
On a personal level, it comes down to well yourself. Like when you look at the data, you realize, no, I'm drinking too much. Or
Okay.
where
Yeah.
you look at the data, you're like, you just went through $10,000 in alcohol this month. Like, you just suddenly the numbers catch up to you. You
Yeah.
know,
I'm
um,
starting to realize that I should set an alarm clock in the morning because I've just been waking up when I wake up for the last few years, and it's just like a lot of like I don't need to sleep in. It's just like a lot of wasted time that's just slipping away. Um,
yeah, and healing. I mean, also healing. I think in fairness, we've been healing the last couple of years. Like we had a lot of deep, and that's one thing happening too. Is people should know that when they open their hearts up to love and they move towards that path of healing, it is for a moment you wonder if you've done the right thing. Because once you start to open it up, then everything that was there starts to come up, you know? And so people are going to feel this choice soon where their heart says, no, I want a better life. And it's like, okay. And that means basically all the things that you don't like about yourself, all the things that you dread, this all has to be faced and excused, really, pardoned by you, pardoned and forgiven and loved, and then just kind of held. And so there's some, what's the word I'm looking for? Icky times in the sense of when you choose the right path at first, and even waking up might be difficult at first, but we've been healing a lot. We've been integrating a lot of, and people are coming back in my reports where people have been very tired the last 2 weeks, extremely tired.
Super tired.
They don't feel like they're getting enough sleep. They feel like they sleep and they still, it's nothing happened at all.
That's why I'm thinking about this because like this morning I'm like I should have got up 90 minutes ago. What am I doing right now? Uh,
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Your body might need it, at the moment. Like I would listen to the needs of the body. I would, so one thing about, the lion, the Leo lion, it sleeps a lot. Kitties sleep a lot,
yeah.
right? They have a lot
Well,
of rejuvenation to do. They're often down their astral planes. That's why they're little wizards. Yeah.
yeah. Well, yeah. Well, thank you for that, and it's cool because I was like, I woke up today like wondering about that. Um,
Yeah. I think right now it's being reported everywhere. And what also being reported is people having last calls. Like, so a lot of people I know have gotten into accidents, have gotten into where they've gone too
yeah,
far with a substance or they've gone too far with something. And the universe has given them pretty big of a slap, like you better wake up. So there's a lot of wake up calls happening too. And if people are having a wake up call, they should definitely pay attention. This is not a drill. Like in essence, you're being told you can't keep going down this particular path. It's not being sponsored anymore. The universe doesn't sponsor you in this lesson anymore. Shit it off the pot. You're right. Feels like they say. So yeah. Oh, sleep paralysis. Someone's saying. Yeah, we've had some of that too. House fires. Yeah, people talking about it. So big events. Saying, hey, this has got to end. So any kind of thing that happens right now is no accident, no coincidence, no way. Right? You're being shown there's a way to take. Listen to your feelings. That's very important. That's a big one too, because your feelings feel everything that your mind doesn't necessarily see. I'm glad that Mercury's direct because retrograde was really tough because it was a lot about over 10 days and what does my heart really want, you know? And so you kind of look at, a lot of people I know were kind of getting sick of stuff. I'm over this. I'm over this. I'm over this relationship. I'm over this house. I'm over, this town. And they were kind of stuck on the I'm over it kind of thing,
yeah.
and they weren't really clear on when the new would come.
Right.
The new will come. Sometimes retrogrades can be overstated. Like you're just like, all right, already, I'm over it. You're just waiting for the Mercury to go direct because you are looking backwards, and so you're looking back in times when you were happy and now you're not. And boy, I was happy in that first thing, and I shouldn't have stopped it. Just a lot of woulda, coulda, shoulda, if I only kind of stuff in Mercury retrograde. Now the Mercury's and that's part of the Mercury retrograde, and so you kind of feel like, oh my God, I'm slipping down to depression. Not really. You're just being shown, how long this has been going on. You're showing how long this pattern has been, and really, it's a matter of your mind wasn't loving of your, wasn't being mindful of yourself. You know, I've had probably 20, painful examples of I should have just chose myself. I shouldn't have considered that person. I shouldn't have considered that. Excuse me, sneezing. There you go. My body's agreeing. It's like why did I put, why not? And so, putting yourself first and foremost is the most important thing because you are the creator of this world and the world you perceive, anyways. And if you don't put yourself first, then you're building a life and people and everything that will always put you second, also.
Yeah, you said that last week, and I think later on in the day, I had made like essentially like a business deal the weekend before, like 2 or 3 days before, and then had the show with you last week. Later on that day, I just happened to basically like have to back out of the deal because it was best for Carolina and I was really hesitant about doing it. And then I went and talked to the guy, and he was like, "Oh, well, I was also thinking that," and this is exactly what you said last week, that if you're true to yourself, you're going to find that the other person who you're worrying about was also like in alignment with not doing the thing with you anyways. And it was funny how that worked out because it actually
It
later
totally
that
does.
day,
Yeah. If you choose with your heart, then it'll work out for best for everyone. And sometimes it's not at first, like that person has to go on, it's like, the person goes on after the breakup and it's like not maybe 6 weeks they meet the love of their life, so it's like, it doesn't happen immediately. Usually but usually you see a strong sign within 40 days. I think we're going to see a lot of change happen again in Virgo because normally Virgo is sort of like, and the hard part about it is that the life you see right now, do not take it as permanent. You know, we take a lot of things as permanent, right? Like reality is permanent, and you'd be surprised. It's like there's no way I can get out of this job. There's no way this is going to happen. There's no way that's going to happen. There's just no way. And then all of a sudden, it's like two little things happen, Like, let's say one of the partners dies in the company, it's resold, and well, it happened. It happens in a flash. So do not be fooled by the illusion of reality. You know, in the sense that if your heart wishes and your heart desires, it's going to happen. There'll be a way, and you'll sometimes you can't guess how it would be, and then when it happens, you're like, of course. You know, it's brilliant how it's beyond you. It's
Yeah.
brilliant. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's good.
I was going to say, from my standpoint, which is independent from yours, uh, in a way,
Right.
I feel that the heart is sort of like precognating, like it's feeling the quote future in a way. It's giving you a glimpse, like a premonition of what's to come. And so when you follow that, it like the momentum was already there. That's why the heart was already showing you what was to come. It's not showing you necessarily like what it wants, but it's showing you like what is already happening in some reality that you just aren't at yet.
Most probably true. I don't disagree with that. I think the heart wrote it. Like it's the heart is a representative of the higher self. So the highest self, which is the big version of you, um, created all this. Wrote it out and put it in something that made it happen. So your heart is really reading the script. It's reading, what it has already written and intends to create. That's if your heart doesn't feel it. It's true. It's not. It's because your heart doesn't feel that it has any intention of making it. Your heart's certainly not going to feed that and give it energy every day and love it to make it come into life. So the heart knows what it intends to love to come into life and what it doesn't intend to love, right? And there's
Right.
not love, there's death. If you don't love, if they don't give something love that you create, it dies. Whether it's a business or relationship or even a baby. If a baby's not touched after a certain amount of time, it would pass. It needs to have love. Everything needs to have a feeding of love. So your heart's a good determiner of what it's going to feed and what it's not, what it can get into, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here we go.
Okay.
So we can make this. We have a makeshift of a new tripod. Here we
Yeah.
go.
I mean, I don't want you burning your hands holding the phone.
Oh my God, the radiation alone. This is good. Thank you.
That looks good. All right. So you mentioned Mercury, you mentioned the moon. Is there any other big things happening with any of the other planets or asteroids or sun?
Well, we have today we have Venus conjoining Jupiter, and that's a big deal because for one, it's a once a year transit. Okay, so Venus is the energy of accepting and receiving, like taking things to the heart. Is that gonna stick? I think it's gonna stick once. Yeah.
Can you just while that's happening and I give you a natural break, could you explain for everybody conjoining if they're not certain what that means?
The conjunction or conjoining. So
What conjoining means when you said Venus conjoins with
conjoining means that,
Jupiter?
like in the sky for days, we see the two heading for each other, and then finally they come to be one light in the sky. So they literally, come together as one. And Star of Bethlehem, for instance, is thought to be Venus, Jupiter, and Star Sirius conjoining. That's what the Star of Bethlehem is announcing, the birth of Yeshua. Um, so a conjunction means that the energies are now, if you think about the energies as like blasting photons to us or blasting, waves towards us, well, their waves become a singular wave now. They become a singular force, right? If you're born with the conjunction in your chart, those two parts of yourself are sort of merged forever, right? So a lot of people have their heart and minds merged because they were born right when a Mercury cazimi, right when it, conjuncts Mercury. That means the mind and the heart are seamless. They work so fast and so much together. There's not a separation of it. The heart wants you to think. You think your heart. As soon as you think about it, your heart wants it. As soon as your heart wants you to think about it. Like so, this is sort of like a codependent relationship. Yeah, we got a camera thing going on here.
It's like, are you balancing your phone on a string?
Yeah, pretty much.
It's
Yeah,
wobbling around.
yeah. He's constructing a tripod out of toothpicks, and we're almost there. We're almost there. We literally, yeah. It's just the house is in disarray. It's crazy. So Venus is the energy of opening up and receiving. All right. And here's the interesting thing: Venus is at the same degree as as the United States birthday. So it's in 13 degrees Cancer, which is the revolutionary Cancer. So
Nice.
the sun is the United States is a 13-degree Cancer. So it's a moody, revolutionary Cancer that follows what your heart believes, that we belong, where we belong. Like we believe that we belong with, even more taxation without representation. That was one place we belong for sure.
Right.
And other things. Thank you. So Venus is there with Jupiter there. So Jupiter is saying right now, It's time to believe in where your heart believes it. It's time to believe it, like, and to feel it. Now, to feel it is to amplify it, right? So, because it's in Cancer, it means that, well, we're gonna feel it. When I feel it, my roommate's gonna feel it. My roommate's gonna feel it. He's gonna feel it. His friend's gonna feel it when he walks down the street. So when there's emotion that carries information, it carries it out to other people, that inspires them, and they either respond to like it or respond to not like it, and then they emote and they respond to like it, not like it. So it's like a pure mesh network of human beings with emotions. So when Venus opens up to Jupiter, it means we take a big inhale to our heart, like what our heart really believes, a big in Cancer that we feel. And see, that pulse right there pretty much is the releasing of the change. It's almost like a gas, killing a, like poison gas killing everyone in the room kind of thing. It's like, positive gas goes out, so to speak, everywhere, what people's hearts believe, and in this moment, there's a powerful wave, if you will, of intention of what the heart believes, and what the heart believes is where you belong. That's to a four. So this is a daily life thing, right? So people are basically at the same time that they're letting go of an old life, they're also opening up to the one they believe in at the same time. That's what's interesting. And the universe has put a ton of energy in self-love. Saturn is self-love, Neptune is self-love, Uranus is self-love in Gemini. So our thoughts are based on self-love. And so, if anything, we're all being sort of, hypnotized, if you will, by the gravity to pursue our heart, pursue what our heart loves, and to pursue what we believe in. So it really is sort of like, it's almost like America just gassed the whole planet, because everyone now on the whole planet today believes in free speech, democracy, the ability to do what you want to do, like, that independent spirit and heart of what we want to experience and feel. So that's a mighty transit. That would be a transit I would report on, regardless, like, of its own nature. It's just pretty powerful. And the Venus is going to conjunct Jupiter once a year, a little sooner than once a year. Its orbit is shorter than Earth, but where it ever conjuncts, that's always what's most captivating and interesting. And so this year it at 13. Now that's not just 13, but 13 also conjoins Sirius, the star Sirius, at 14, the brightest star in the sky. In fact, Venus and Jupiter actually both move to 14 tonight. So they come together at 13, they hold hands, they hold the 14, they conjoin Sirius, and they move apart. Now,
Wow.
that's incredible. And we find that a lot at Sirius Joy, that they actually will stay together for two step numbers, planets and conjunctions, and they'll move together to the next number at the same time. To me, that is literally us moving up to this next step. Now, 14 is an opinion, by the way. So, on an individual level, it means that people are going to come to a strong opinion about what their feelings are telling them about daily life. That they now have a strong opinion about where their heart, step one, belongs, step four, or what their heart belongs thinking, net five. So this becomes a new way of thinking. And I would imagine that people are going to do in the next 3 days, a lot of flip flopping, like where they go, maybe it is time to sell the house. Maybe it is time to, go be near the grandkids. Maybe it is time to do this and do that. I'm now of the opinion of this. And so this is where the grand changes start to happen. And so we see going into, and like I said, in Virgo is the implementation of all these changes. People going, that's it. We're putting up the house. We're doing this. We're doing that. I would say right now, if you have a hard time finding something you want to buy, or, you're wondering if the ticket prices will go down, or, anything seems to be holding you back, just wait. The whole planet's about to make some moves and changes. And the eclipses that come in the next season begin to push those changes even faster. And so we'll be on a fast lane of change all the way up till Halloween. Come Halloween, the world feels very different. Like, and that's because you moved to a new place or start a new job, or you have life change going on, a major life change or life changing event. Um, but this is
So
like no other. This is like no other.
I know this is a general question. It's kind of broad. You might not be able to answer it. Are you saying to wait to change or to go into change before
I'm
Halloween, or wait after or wait till after Halloween?
I'm saying if you've been trying to change, it can't. Like you want stuff to change, like your job or anything like that. You're frustrated, and you just can't see a way out. Just wait a second. There's a way out coming. Like there's a way out coming for everybody, because there's just going to be vacancies from people moving, and cars on the market that you can buy that people sold, and you're just going to see a tremendous amount of activity in commerce, like a beehive. You know, Virgo's gonna be like a beehive, just tons of things flying around. Sometimes getting stung, sometimes dying. Like just tons of stuff. Like we've never seen a swarm of bees before. And I imagine, we're seeing also some changes geologically too. You know, um, you know, if Mother Earth wasn't pissed for that Russia earthquake, um, because someone in man made it, which is possible, then she's pissed now. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
she wasn't pissed then, she's pissed now. Either way, she's pissed, right? Like you don't fuck with Mother Nature, right? It's kind of like an old saying in the '70s. Isn't wise to fool with Mother Nature. Long story short, I think we're gonna see some, forces of nature as well, starting to happen, right? Anyways, this is it. This is the change. This is where the mudslide takes you down, right? Where the landslide takes you home. I can't remember the song from the Stevie Nicks, landslide, but it's that landslide. The land's about to slide, right? And it'll slide
Hmm.
in your favor. It'll slide for what your heart wants, whether you're aware of what your heart wants or not. And that's another thing too. Your heart, you might have walled yourself off from your heart. You might have denied it. You might be an alcoholic. You might be pushing it away, but it's not. It is what's keeping yourself alive. So if you've been in denial, you will be awakened to the truth, and you'll realize it's what your heart did want, but you couldn't admit it. So some people have surprise truths happen, right? They have to be left by their partner to realize they weren't happy. They have to be fired by their job to realize they hated it. And
Mm.
so there'll be a lot of forced change,
Yeah.
because they just weren't awake enough to, take the steps and see the signs.
Yeah. The heart will get its message across one way or another.
Without a doubt. Yeah. Yeah. And heaven will prevail, and the intention of heaven. So you can't get much far, you can't hide, you can't run. You sign up for this, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, totally.
I mean,
But
that
we're,
was. I just want to ask: is there anything else? Because you're like, I asked last time, and you just went into this huge portal of Venus and Jupiter. Um,
yeah, because I'm sitting in my mind remembering without my notes. I feel, I mean, the sum of the week is just that. We wrap up the Sun in Leo, and your heart will be. What's important is that you need. I guess the audience need to know that your feelings. Like right now, the sun is. I mean, the moon's in Aquarius, so it goes then into Pisces, and um, there's a spiritual realization, right? Basically, and then there's Aries, where you start to get basically realize that your feelings are going to kind of rule whether change happens next, right? And your heart may want something, but you don't feel like it. Well, you may not feel like it because you've had so much momentum in the wrong direction, right? That it's more natural to stay on an emotional course, to not change or to stay this way. This is a time where you will be uncomfortable. And if you're not uncomfortable, something's wrong.
yes.
Like something's
Okay.
wrong.
Because everyone, like, it seems like everybody, like, when you're like, "Hey, how you doing?" No one's saying "fine" anymore.
Right, right,
It's
right,
like,
right.
I-
Right. It's true. Meh. And then people make fun of you. Meh. Thought you're a life coach. I am. It sucks. Yeah. And you have to realize your feelings have a momentum. It's not like a current, so if you start, if the water is swimming around, if the water in the fish tank is just going around because of the bubbler, you know what I mean? Over and over again. And you stop the bubbler, it's still going to swirl for a while. It's got a momentum. Your life has a momentum. And what happens is when you try to leave the momentum, all right, to that force, the leaving of that force, it does pull you back in. It has this like withdrawal, this retainer emotional pull because it's meant, your life is meant to stay on course. Like it's your ego is designed to continue, and your feelings are designed to repeat because the moon swings around the earth, repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat. So when you're trying to get off that wild ride, you will face resistance, and resistance is not a sign. So don't take it as a sign. Like, I tried to leave my boss out for me a job back. That doesn't mean you're meant to be there, right? He doesn't want change either. He wants the same old, right? They say the devil tempts you back. It does. In fact, that's one of the reasons you know you're doing the right thing is that if there's a huge force that says, stop, come
right.
back, I love you, you know what I mean? And it's like, I know you do, but I'll see you in heaven. At the end of the day, you're going to feel this pull. And that pull is your own momentum. It's not your higher self telling you. The higher self doesn't tell. Okay. Honestly, and here's another thing for people to know too, because sometimes a lot of ridiculous things happen during these times, like things you can't believe, right? And so you will not be super excited at the change. You will not be super afraid at the change. You will be neutral. So like when you're making the right choice for yourself, it's a quiet calm on the inside. When God gives you bad news, it's a quiet calm. You calmly hear someone's going to die. You calmly hear you're going to change. If it's not coming in calm, it may not be your real spirit talking. It may be your ego talking, or your own fears of things like erupting over because the consequences, the fear is, struck as a consequence. So, again, our heart's going to come to some big conclusions. That's why I'm telling all this to people. And when you come to these big conclusions about what you want, reality is not permanent. So don't get stuck in thinking that things can't change. Oh, they can. And they do always. It's just we get so used to routine, we forget. Secondly, your emotions are going to try to pull you back in because that's their design. They're elastic. And so when you try to leave, you're gonna be pulled back. You're gonna be pulled back in. Three, if it's a very exciting, like crazy, can't stay calm, can't sleep, or the opposite, like where you're just so tired and worn down and sad about it. Both of those are signs that you're on the wrong path because the right path will have very little resistance. The path of least resistance is the path. So it's like, oh, we could spend an extra this and do that and go around this and go around that. Or we could just take the ferry. You know, Most of the time it's just the ferry, right? Like it is that path of least resistance. Still, at least there's like I can't avoid. I get away with that. That just happened, like that easy. So when you make that right choice, you feel at ease. You feel relief. Relief is a good feeling. So there's relief. That means pressure is off. That was good. You feel free. You can feel creative. Like you feel excited and creative. If you feel in the happiness side, what kind of happiness do we look for? Excitement or happiness? The happiness where you like lose sense of space and time, like where you're just like, oh my God, where'd the day go? That means you've been in a state of joy, right? When you lose space time, you just disconnected from reality because now you're at the creation point. You're not the reality point. You're at the point of where things are being forged and being created for the first time. So those are all signs that you're making the right choice. And if you're making the wrong choice, you'll get hard signs in Virgo. Like Virgo
Okay.
will like if your car does not want you to go if it's dangerous to drive your car, the engine will fall out. Like the universe will say, "Look, I'm telling you, you don't want to do this." Right? They're going to hard slap. So if it's not like a very strong, obvious sign, it might just be you processing some of the resistance you have to it, and that's necessary, right? That's necessary. You also
Do
did
you?
your good, good.
I was going to ask a few minutes ago. You just said it like in passing. You said you're going to have a spiritual awakening, and then you just.
Ah,
What did you mean by that? You were talking about the moon, and you said,
well, the awakening is the truth comes to you, like a truth that cannot be put back in the box. It's like where it's like um, just a situation where your soul knows that that's true, and you can't deny it anymore. Like to yourself. And a lot of times we tell our things, our mind gets in the way. Our mind says, "Oh, blah, blah, blah. It could be this, it could be that. What about this? What about that? It was that person's fault. It was this fault. It's science." So the mind comes with all these examples, but then you exhaust yourself and you sit there alone. You go, no, that's not true. Like the real truth is, I did want to do that. I did want to have that affair. I did because I wasn't happy, and so a lot of truth comes out when you get to this core of the heart, the sun, because that's what the heart really wants. A lot of times what the heart wants, society says no to, right? Society says no to. The heart kind of wants, two wives. No, can't do that. And it's just like, well, the heart wants it. It's like, and that means that the people you love will want it too. It's like, be brave. If your heart wants to do something, experience something, and it's not harming another person, of course, then you're meant to do it. It doesn't matter what's been done and what the rules are. That's the problem. We've let the rules, quote, quote, rule us instead of our heart.
mm-hmm.
If people went through their heart, there'd be no need for rules.
Right. And our ability to trust others would
Totally.
alleviate our
Yeah.
concern to need rules for everybody else.
Right. Exactly. And that's all because, ultimately they were originally they were told to do something that was against their heart, and they needed rules to keep you there. You know, like paying taxes. I keep saying that one. It's like no one's heart wants to do that, so there shouldn't be taxes. And it's not even a greed thing. It's not our heart doesn't want to be taxed, right? So the things your heart wants is who you are. You know, and this is a time where People realize they want to be, they want to be trans, or they want to be like their heart wants something that's very unconventional, very different. Things that take a risk, things that put you at exposure, to expose you, things that your family won't like. And what you're always afraid of is, when people say, I'm afraid I'm going to hurt people, they're really afraid of them not being able to love themselves now that they've hurt someone. The truth is, you don't really care about hurting them because you don't feel the pain. You care about the fact that that what you do by loving yourself and following yourself first, if they're not happy with you, you don't know if you can be happy with yourself. You don't know if you can go on loving yourself if you're not going to get the support of loving others. And so that's where the mistake is. It's like the only way to get your choice is to say that you're going to love yourself no matter how much of a bastard you are, no matter how, much people don't like you, no matter what they say for opinions, that your love for yourself is unwavering, right? Only then are you truly free. So a lot of people are held up by what will the world think? What will the world say? And the truth of the matter is, from an astrological perspective, is you change worlds. When you
Mm,
change what your heart wants, you'll watch. And I guess that's another thing I should say to people. You're going to lose some people in your life when they don't like the fact that you're not staying the same. And a lot of people don't like that. They don't like that. They want you to stay the same so they can stay the same. Because if you were to change and so are all their other friends, well, then that means that they're the one on the outs if they don't do some kind of change too. Like they're not fitting in anymore. And that's exactly what happens. When you change, the people you're attracted to, the people who are attracted to you change. So expect a lot of changing of the guards, changing of, positions, in, certain titles and roles in companies, changing of work, your work roles and things like that too. Because that's what comes from a change of a heart, a consequential change of everything, right? Once you change the heart, then the heart, everything has to change. So
right.
we're in a, Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio right now. It's bringing up a lot of fear. We don't talk about Black Moon very often. She's at step 15 today, which means that our biggest fear is letting someone down right now. So our biggest fear on the earth is letting someone down, letting the boss down, letting, you down. Ron, I can't get my shit together. Like the fear of letting people down is big right now. And the focus on that is the only thing that matters is whether or not you let yourself down, right? Because if you let someone down, it's probably because you've been letting yourself down. That's why it's happening, right? And you can worry about letting someone down, but you should be more concerned about the fact you're letting yourself down because you were not there for yourself so that you could be there for them. You were not there for yourself so that, so whatever could happen. You're not there for yourself when you said yes to it. That was an impossible task to begin with, And so we tend to like have this on this, like, Holy Spirit say, you need to worry about everyone around you and treat them better than you treat yourself. No, it's that if you treat yourself really well, everyone around you will treat you very well.
Hmm.
So treating everyone really well, it's not going to get you good treatment. That's not the way it works.
Which is
Yeah.
which is answering this question that someone's asking. She's saying, "What do you do if you don't know how to love yourself? I'm so passionate on everyone else, and I wouldn't know how to start loving myself."
Loving yourself is, really looking at the things, first of all, that you like and admire about yourself. There's a lot you like and admire about yourself that you don't admit to. So, you might like the way you just handled that question in class. You might like the way you told her. I mean, sometimes like I told her, you like the way you sassed back. You can be mindful of what you love about yourself, but if you have no idea whatsoever, then you need to have a conversation with your heart every day. And what I do with clients is I say, you have to grant your heart 3 wishes every day. 3 wishes. And obviously the wishes have to be within your means because you're not going to be like, you know, blink and have yourself transported to the moon or something. But one wish may be that you just want, you just want to skip gym class. You just, please keep me out of gym. And then like the next wish may be, I really want a frappuccino. I know it's bad for me. I just want one. So it's like, give your heart 3 wishes a day. Okay. That's important because your heart, first of all, has atrophied back. It pulls back when you're not loving it. It pulls back, pulls back. It becomes harder and harder to see that person's light because their heart's pulling back. Like, this shit's crazy. We're getting out of here, right? It's literally on its way home. Is what it's doing. It's leaving. So to bring it back online, you have to reward your heart and bring it. Have it, give it reasons to look forward to in the day. And so
I
if you
love
know,
that.
yeah. If you give, hey, you're getting 3 wishes a day. You're getting 3 wishes every
Right.
day, three a day. This is it. What do you want this morning? Tell me what you want, kid. And if the heart wants it, you say yes. And what else do you want? Yes. And what else do you want? There's never a no. You know. If your heart wants like its own baseball stadium, yes, you can have that, but I don't have the money. So what else can I get you in the meantime? The answer is always yes and, right? Because what you're doing is you're pulling that heart back. Yes and yes and yes and yes. Come on, life is going to be joyful. I promise you. You're talking to yourself. I I will show you. I will make you the priority now, and let you have everything you want. And then at some point, what happens is just this is pop. You're like, oh my god, I promised myself I can have everything I want. Like you don't realize that that wasn't even a thing. Like you hadn't even really promised yourself that you were kind of like playing it by ear, right?
Right.
So that's a big part of it too. Is coming back into synergy with your heart, because it's the ruler. And the answer to that is how to love yourself. Well, the first thing to do is just what I said. So if you follow the instructions I said, where you listen to your heart for 3 wishes a day and follow through with them, trust me, you're going to love yourself.
That's amazing. Yeah.
You're going to love
Super
yourself. You're going to have
simple.
reasons to cite that day. Totally. And then once you get that feeling, you start seeing other good things. You know, I love
Yeah.
this about myself. Did you see where they handled that?
Right.
We were meant to go home and be proud of what we've done. We're meant to be happy with it, happy with who we are and what we've said. Um, and so you can also recount at the end of the night before bed what are the things you liked about yourself today. Like, I really like the way I handled this. I really like the way I told this person that. I really like how I got this done. And you're basically rewarding your heart for
Yeah.
reciprocating that love back, and taking it to a higher response. But the biggest way to love yourself is your response to yourself. So 90% of manifestation is response. So it's like you do a tennis ball, or you say, I think we should team up together. And then you hear that, it's like, well, he wants to team up with me. What do I do? You're an idiot. Is that the response? Right? The response to yourself has got to be pro love, proactive, and higher, right? And ideally the response to yourself should be love yourself and love yourself some more. Because if you just love yourself one time, you stay at the same altitude. You love yourself twice in that moment, take yourself a little higher in vibration. Always
Right.
pedaling for higher and higher. And our generation, Gen X, I mean, we're about to do it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Can we quickly go into the days of the week?
hmm So today is step 19, where we are acting on our heart. And that means you want to continue acting on behalf of your heart all day long. And that goes going to go into step 20 early tomorrow morning. And acting on your heart means that the other thing about acting on your heart means is that if something happens, like someone calls you a name, don't listen to that person. Don't let that in. Go right to the heart and go, oh, did someone call you a name? I love you. You respond directly to your heart. You do not respond to the subject. Okay. That
Hmm.
actually is how you ascend to the 20s with a strong two, feeling good about yourself. Tomorrow, step 20. Now you're going to feel all sorts of potential futures. It's important that as you feel the futures, you put your energy into the ones you love. So tomorrow, if you feel that you could get fired, you feel like you can end up, getting in trouble with the government for like your taxes, or you feel like any kind of thing that could go bad, right? Like that wouldn't go right, or you feel like you can run out of money, you feel like you can be laid off. You want to reverse that right away. You have to say, no, I'm not. I'm responding to that feeling with no. I want to feel this. So tomorrow is where you sort of draw the line. If you let yourself feel a certain way, like, oh, I'm going to get fired, I'm going to get fired, I'm going to get fired. So every time you allow yourself to feel that, respond to that, you now create that way for the future, right? If you refuse to respond to it, you refuse to say, I'm not giving that any emotion, I'm not playing that game, and you only respond to things that are joyful, that's the choice. So I want people to know, you may think the choice is this college or that college, or, this career or that career, or this woman or that woman. But the real choice is, am I going to feel this way or am I going to feel that way about that? You choose how you want to feel. You do. There are some feelings that come up that you can't choose because it's your memory you're feeling. But the rest of it, you choose. And it's a choice to go ahead and feel bad. So it's like someone says something, you can choose to feel bad and be like, and take it personally. Oh, how dare you? How do you think about that? You can choose to take it that way, right? And it is a choice because, you know, they said something, you wait a couple seconds and then you responded. It wasn't automated, right? You may not be able to see the choice, but there was. So choose wisely, choose happily, in your responses. And responses are kind of fun because they're kind of like a game. You don't know when they're coming, so sort of like all of like a tennis racket. You're ready. You're sort of ready to.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more of a fun position to focus on.
And
Uh,
sometimes you don't even know you're in the game. You're just responding, and you're
no, totally. You respond automatically. That's another thing too. It's like we're taking the intro to step astrology, and zero is a blank number. And I was saying to class, it's like, if you don't respond, then the universe will fill in that zero with whatever number it wants. And that number it wants will be whatever the closest number is around there looking at that. And so when we don't respond and we are aloof and put it off, you lose people, you lose relationships, you lose situations. You have to stay in the present, stay in the moment, right? Yeah. So, anyways, we go 2021 on Wednesday, starts getting fun. 22 on Thursday, which is where you'll see a radical shift in your plans. And usually the radical shift is like, oh, I'm sorry, the cargo ships are all booked. We're putting you in like a steam rowboat. It's like, oh, okay. But like something happens. And so that means that fate takes over towards the end of the week, right? We start to feel fate as we now feel, our feelings colliding with what's possible, what's impossible. And most likely, you come out on the other side of that, which is 23 and 24. You come out on the other side of that going, okay, I think this is what my heart is desiring to do. I think this is the direction to go. And so by the end of the week, we start, 22 is Thursday, so there's a breakdown breakthrough. 23 is Friday. So 23 is when you have the vision. You're like, I know what the vision is. I know what I'm going to do. I know what to do and how to do it. And so it's really a week of feeling your way through the options. And if something feels off, see if it's a bad feeling from the past or if it's a warning about the future. So if you're like, my heart wants to do this, like move to Minnesota. Oh, I get a weird feeling about that. Okay. Do you feel that's the future you're feeling? Do you feel that's the past you're feeling? Do you feel it's the fear you're feeling? Like, what are you really feeling? So qualifying the feelings and interviewing yourself is really important because it's the only way to get to the truth. Don't forget the 5-2-1 method. Think about it. How do you feel and what's your heart tell you? And you'll get to the truth of where you're meant to be. No question. Well, at least on the path of, you know, I think we've all got a guaranteed train trip, like to the first stop, you know, and so everyone's gonna be sort of. I think most people are gonna be, kind of forced on the cars, or the train's gonna come up and like you're gonna step on easily, and then when the train starts moving, the people go, wait a minute, where's this headed, right? And so it's like one beat into it, people start to maybe panic a little bit. Um, but yeah, it's interesting times, man. It's interesting times. This is the dawn of the age. And I would say that this come Virgo, that's the final chopping block. We're officially in the new timeline, and most of us are operating in the new timeline now. And they have had special powers too for me, by the way. I mean, I can't get into all of them today, but just the ability to see things I couldn't see before with confidence, and even like AI, spirit bringing me information like a dashboard that has to do with whatever I'm thinking about or concerned about, right? So I don't have to go ask anymore. I'm being told, kind of like I learn on my phone. Like, dude, someone just stepped in your yard. Dude, ding, someone says your doorbell, package delivered. Like, the universe is going to start informing things as they are in real time. And if you listen, you will be right there, step by step, experiencing your life. If you put it off and you ignore and you're off in the clouds, you might miss your train,
Mm.
you know? So be careful. Listen to those instincts that are nagging you.
Yeah, and be careful listening to other people that tell you that it doesn't mean anything.
Oh,
'Cause
totally. Yeah.
you
But
gave
those
some,
things, yeah.
I was going to say you gave some life-changing information, especially like interviewing yourself, like asking your heart, is this from the past or is this a future thing? And that's what I'm hearing you say a lot about this new time is that we're becoming responsible for ourselves, which is going to enable ourselves to be uh, more resonant with reality, to the fact that we can actually tune into reality
Yes.
better.
And we call that enchantment. It's Sirius Joy. So you become enchanted, and then everything around you becomes enchanted with you. And when that happens, everything starts to whirl around your desires and your needs. So this is why it's really important to be in love with yourself and not question how amazing that is to be you. And then from that love for yourself, what do you love in life? So follow that. And then as far as the future, what do I devote to? Devote to the direction you love. And when you devote to all those three directions, you become enchanted, which means that you're kind of like a magic Super Mario brother. Like you just can, jump higher and kill coins and things like. You basically have this ability just to, when you're enchanted, you have the ability to be very persuasive because you're so enchanting, which means that your energy is just seducing me into like a little bit of a spell where where I'm just happy, smiling like a Japanese tourist to you, right? Because you seem so happy, right? And so
Yeah.
it pulls people in, you know.
You're in the flow with reality, like, and that's impossible to ignore. And you feel on purpose. You feel like aligned, and everyone's seeking that.
Yes. Yeah, and it's something that so you want to create a life where you're you know, it's time to be dreamy, it's time to be loving, it's time to do the things you've always wished for. It's time to sort of like get seduced and drink, you know, drink the Kool-Aid. Because the enchantment itself, the experience of your heart getting what it wants, is actually how your heart gets what it wants, right? It needs to feel that. That's why I said 3 times a day, right? Get
Right.
3 times a day, like, I got what I wanted. I got this I
Start
want. I want that.
practicing.
Yeah, totally. And sometimes it's small stuff, like I want to break, or I want to drop this client because it's too much, or, you know, whatever it is. Listen to it and give it to it. Because by doing that, you'll probably get a bigger gift from your heart than you have now. Because it's showing like the heart is ready to start giving, you know,
Yeah.
and moving forward. Yeah.
Well, Chris, this has been an amazing talk,
Thanks,
guys.
buddy.
And I don't want to hold you up because I know you got a lot of stuff going on at your house. But
A little
guys, if you
crazy.
want to know more about at Christopher Witecki, you can go to SiriusJoy.com and then look at Sirius Joy TV on YouTube as well.
Totally. Yeah, we're making changes too, so we've got a lot of stuff coming out. But overall, our pep talk just got upgraded, so we have more information in the pep talk now in the mornings, and even on the weekly series on the show. Come us on YouTube and watch us. We're starting to report more on the sun signs than we have in the past, because we
Okay.
think it's a whole new crop of people. So if you don't know what an Aries is,
Yeah.
don't know what Taurus is, come on down because we're constantly speaking specifically to those signs, which means you get a reading, a little mini reading if you watch. So yeah, it's we're real happy with our work, and we're happy to work with y'all.
Yeah. Well, we're happy with you too, Chris.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. Take care, everybody. Thank you all for being here.
Peace. Bye,
Bye bye.
brothers.